Red Ray Gun Limited presents
The Benji and Nick Show. Hello.
Oh, we harmonised each other. Well, we didn't harmonise, but we did it at the same time.
Good day.
Oh, good evening.
Good afternoon. Oh!
Good morning.
Goodness.
Loch Ness. Yes.
Loch Ness.
Da-da-da. Da-da-da.
Well done. Welcome to the Benji and Nick Show. I'm not Benji, and
not
he's
Nick.
not Nick. Yeah, it's true. And this in this special edition, which may just become a regular thing if we go a bit crazy about it, we generally talk about cult television, and getting right to the coalface of it, today we are going to do a commentary for the Doctor Who story Death to the Daleks, which was first broadcast in 1974, stars John Pertwee as the Doctor and Elizabeth Sladen as Sarah Jane Smith, and funnily enough features the Daleks as voiced by Michael Wisher, who went on to play Davros.
It's a classy story. It's one of our favourites, if possibly certainly our favourite Dalek story. I think we can both agree in terms of affection.
Yeah. Oh, in terms of affection, yes. And what we're going to do, and hopefully you can sync up with us to watch it and hear our random thoughts. We're on the menu page with the episode selection, and I'll go 3, 2, 1, click, and we'll all click on part 1 at the same time, and you at home as well. So pause the podcast, get your DVD ready. Okay, here we go. You
Here's
ready, Benji?
When we made it. Hold on. I'm just moving the thing so
Okay.
it's on the same screen as the recording. There we go.
Okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1, click. Has yours started?
It's just started now.
Yeah, same here. Well, here we are. This was a new title sequence in 1974, and I'm old enough to remember it happening and being blown away by it. But
well, this is the thing. People always associate it with Tom Baker and forget that this style originated with John Pertwee.
Yes,
indeed.
So we just missed the bit where there's a little blob at the bottom left of the frame. Did you notice that?
No.
Where they get it slightly wrong. There's a little bit of black on the matting. Anyway, okay. So here, this is Terry Walsh, John Pertwee's stunt double, staggering around on the planet Exelon.
Gorgeous quarry somewhere. And look at that arrow. I always think that looks... The one thing I would say about this story is things do look quite painful in it. The arrow's going and that looks very painful.
Well, there's a lot of pain and agony in old Doctor Who that there isn't. There isn't. And here we are, Pertwee in his slightly smaller TARDIS control room, just shoved in the corner of the studio.
Bad luck, isn't it, having opening an umbrella indoors? You should know that, the fool.
Do you think that Terry Nation put that in on purpose?
Maybe, perhaps it's his sort of...
The water's effervescent, the bubbles support you.
One thing I love about Pertwee's TARDIS is just the way things are mainly there for a reason. So the light on the wall there is just there. You know, it's not there like they're going to be using it later on.
Just to show the lights going out.
Just to show the light going out.
There's hardly any room there. Oh, there we go.
It's gone.
It's like blown a fuse. Oh, God, Liz Sladen was so good, wasn't she?
She's brilliant.
I mean, she's playing the archetypal helpless heroine, but she brings real guts to it, doesn't she? And and in their typical sexist way, they've got her in virtually no clothes whatsoever, and yet she's still selling it like a good one, isn't she?
Now look at that figure there, the figure out there that looked like an Exelon there, which is just the Rock, but it blends in so beautifully.
He was in this, was he? The Rock.
The Rock, yeah, Dwayne Johnson.
Who was inside the TARDIS to make it wobble like that when it materialised?
Some poor bloke swinging back and forth, or John Pertwee after a few beers.
Yes, this is very ambitious lighting for those days. People's faces aren't lit, and in those days, the lighting director would insist that everything was illuminated. So they got away with something here.
It's got a lot of character, hasn't it? Here's one interesting thing. I was sent this sound effect of the TARDIS here going whoa.
Oh yeah.
And it was sent to me just with a bunch of other TARDIS sounds. Oh, there we go.
Oh, there goes the light.
So I've used that in Big Finish things before. It's a little just sitting in the background.
That's nice. That gap between the console and the back wall is ridiculously narrow, isn't it?
Oh, they just shoved it in a corner, haven't they, really?
Yeah. I'm also quite an admirer, really, because I've only noticed it for the first time now, of that inflatable float.
The Lilo.
There. Yeah, the Lilo. It was just Lilo.
It's probably moved the TARDIS there so it doesn't fall forward. Wedged it there.
Not a click, not a tick. I love the way they introduce a bit of reverb here.
Yes, very cleverly done.
There is a real danger that I'm just going to stop and watch it.
This is it. I've got work to do later. Fast forward to me.
I've got a life to lead.
Fast forward to me solving logic puzzles.
Now, this torch has actually got a wire attached to it, hasn't it?
So they can turn it down on the dimmer.
So they can fade it when the power goes down. Terry Nation was always big on the big idea, wasn't he? You know, I know, he's a planet that drains all energy, so the Daleks have to have machine guns. But bada boom, there's your idea.
And this is his return, isn't it? To oh no, I'm thinking no, I'm not.
No, he'd done Planet of the Daleks before, and that was, what if the Daleks could make themselves invisible, and that volcanoes spewed out molten ice and not molten lava? I mean, I just love
flipping it on its head.
Yeah, he just all his Dalek annual and Dalek book stories have this kind of crazy stuff.
And this is all down to the 70s, isn't it? This particular story about, you know, the 3 hours on, 3 hours off, lots of power cuts and strikes.
I think it's riffing on that. I think he probably started writing this during a power cut.
With his oil lamp. Look at that.
He would have had a private generator living in that enormous house bought for him by the Daleks.
Look at that, the smoke coming in. Oh, yeah. So it's very atmospheric. This first episode.
You can hear the hiss of the smoke machine as well, can't you?
Yeah. Very atmospheric, this first story, though. I think it's a masterclass in
first episode.
In first episode, masterclass in setting atmosphere and an alien planet.
I love that weird background noise.
Tape delay.
So imaginative. Is that what it is?
Tape delay, yeah. Tape delay, or a synthesizer with tape delay with a pitch bend. There's the rock.
The first bit of was there music earlier on, or is that the first bit of music from Carrie Blyton in this episode?
I think there was the bit when the TARDIS goes and it goes dun dun dun, you know, when they fall over, and then this is the second cue. But the first cue I don't think was by Carrie. I think that was a reused bit of something else.
Do you? Well, I don't even remember.
I don't know.
Dun, dun,
dun, dun. Yeah, when they fall. Maybe I'm imagining it. I don't know.
I think you are. I think you're thinking of Pyramids of Mars.
Possibly am, actually. You're quite right.
And that's Dudley Simpson. Photosynthesis.
That's
a
Dudley
difficult word
Sutton.
for John Pertwee. A difficult word for John Pertwee to say. And also not a very familiar word to the general public at that time. That would have sounded extremely clever. We know stuff like that now because of our interest in plants and the environment, which has become mainstream.
Look at that. There's the washing up glove with a bit of paint stuck on it.
One of my favourite things is to point that hand out to Ben, my son, when he watches this. So now he looks out for it. By the way, your comment about this being a really perfect first episode, Peter Capaldi would agree with you.
Well, I'm not surprised. He's a great man and has impeccable taste.
Well, he said that to me when we were chatting after the read-through for the first two stories they filmed of his. Into the Dalek was the second one they filmed, and so it was, you know, it was in a block with the first story. Can't remember what that was called, that first story, but anyway. And afterwards we were chatting away, and some BBC people were trying to usher him away, and he just said, no, I want to talk about this.
Oh God, it's so familiar.
It's lovely.
Yeah, it's probably a good idea to shove some clothes on, Sarah.
Absolutely.
It looks chilly out there.
I love the way the doctor tells her she's being ridiculous or something. John Pertwee on location,
staggering around with his wellies, which I love. The wellies are great.
This was shot in Dorset, relatively near where I live now.
I think the Exelons are surprisingly frightening, actually.
They are. They worried me a bit at the time. I mean, I think I was sort of 11 or 12, so I wasn't, and I did watch it on my own. Certainly, this episode. Later episodes were spoilt by my brother and his then girlfriend.
Never live that one down.
Well, they were spoilt because I was taping them. I didn't tape this episode because I had limited tape stock, and I thought the Daleks won't turn up until the end anyway, and there'll be a recap. So I'll get the Daleks. That rock next to the TARDIS is almost exactly TARDIS shaped, isn't it?
It is. I wonder if it's the same platform where the Exelons fall off later in the second or third episode.
I think undoubtedly, mate.
Oh, see, look at that. The lighting again. It's location. It's like a horror. It feels very Hammer horror, actually.
It does, doesn't it? I love this music. And the zip, zip, zip. What is that instrument?
It's not an go-go, is it?
Not a jaw, an ass's jaw or something. No, what do they call it?
Yeah, it's a sort of a go-go.
A go-go.
Oh, it's like the wood. 70s. It's a wooden a go-go. Yeah.
Ah. I love the way they've got the smoke sort of coming out of the sand there. I don't know how they do that.
I suppose you bury it. Maybe bury it.
Look at this. Blood. She's got the Doctor's blood on her hand.
It's pretty grim. It's pretty. That is pretty grim.
That's good blood as well. That's realistic blood.
I love the I love those. The outfits that they wear.
Fantastic shot.
It's very ambitious.
Yeah.
But the way that I think it's clever, the way that they do blend in with the rocks.
Yeah. Now the Exelon gets into the TARDIS. He had to really squeeze through that gap, didn't he? Because it's not very big for her to get through. I think it'd be much better if he was caught halfway going,
So, yeah. Sorry, mate. Oh, get in there. This
is quite horrifying stuff, isn't it? She's trapped in there. We know, bit of dramatic irony here, we know that the Exelon's in there and that she's shutting herself in with him.
And also, there's two of those horrible creatures. You can't see their faces. They're wandering, it's terrible. I would be so scared. Look, the hat stand behind, and your second thinking for a moment, is that the creature? Where is it? She thinks she's...
Here it comes, POV shot.
Oh, I've got a terrible shiver then. Whack it! Hit it!
Now she knocks the crap out of the cameraman. She's really brutal. I mean, she's hitting him with a crank handle. That would break someone's skull.
Could kill somebody, really.
I mentioned to you earlier that Mark Gatiss was watching this the other day, and he texted me knowing it's my favourite story. So, we're watching this, and he said it's surprisingly brutal.
It is. In this hand, again, I wouldn't open the door, love. Step on it. Come on, get your heel into it.
Well, yeah, that would just... And it grabs the... That's a real... Ooh. And it's terrible. I mean, it's a sort of... dare I raise this subject? It's kind of oddly racist that she's allowed to beat the crap out of him because he is, in inverted commas, a native. So it doesn't matter. If it was someone who looked like you or me, then it would... because he's primitive... It's okay for Sarah to smack him. You know what I mean? It's
an interesting one. I suppose it's self-defense, isn't it? And so
yes, you're on it. Pertwee giving it the old Venusian Aikido.
Here we go. Look at that. I love it when he whacks him with the torch in a minute, straight on the head. Bonk! It's a real good, satisfying noise. He's a
force
as
to
well.
be reckoned with, isn't it? And the interesting thing is that him and Terry Walsh here be fighting each other in various guises.
But again,
I like to think that...
the axe.
Yes. That wouldn't be allowed now because it's imitatable violence.
Well, look at it.
He looks like a teddy bear there, doesn't he?
He does.
Looks like an Ewok.
As I remember when my mum watched this, she used to call them the bag people. She said they just look like brown paper bags.
I love the way he takes him down with two fingers there.
See, look at how wonderfully they blend in, though. And that's what makes this particularly good, the lighting, is that you actually, when it goes to a new shot, you don't actually know if it's an Exelon or not.
Yes, I wonder whether the whole concept of the Exelons on the rocks looking the same was a design concept or whether it was in the script. Because I know the original script, QCSO, coming up soon, I knew that the original script was set in a jungle, and so they said to Terry Nation, the last one was in a jungle, Planet of the Daleks, mate. Can we? And we said, right, set it on a desert planet. Yeah. Those are the two types of planet.
Look at that amazing model there. Looks like the thing on my wall.
Yes, it does. Your soundproofing bit. Terrible CSO. Terrible
CSO, but brilliant sound of the beacon there, which was my text tone for a long time.
Was it really?
Yeah, but then now everybody WhatsApps me. It's a great
location, that, isn't it?
It's again, the Exelon up there blends in so perfectly. You don't notice it until you're following him.
No, you wouldn't have noticed it the first time. Yeah. And it's great camera angle because, just to the right of that is like a field or something, or, a porter cabin. It's
wonderfully done. It's a very believable alien planet, I think. More so than other deserty sort of quarry settings we become accustomed to in Doctor Who.
Well, I think, to be fair, this is possibly the same location as all the other ones, but they're just shooting it a bit more interestingly.
It looks very frontier in space, actually, doesn't it?
Well, I think it's colony in space.
Yes.
I think Frontier in Space was more rocky.
Possibly. Good hair.
When Wendy, I was going to say, Katie Manning talks about how the bouffant hairstyle was her fault because she told him he was going a little bit bald at the back. So he bouffanted his hair up to cover up the bald spot at the back.
Oh, no. Well, to be fair, though, she gave him a great little gimmick there. I love the bouffant look.
Well, yeah, because when you look at the early Pertwee stuff, and he has not got a bouffant.
Not at all. There's a big polystyrene rock coming for you, mate. Look at it bounce.
Nice bounce. That's not convincing anyone, is it? Here comes Galloway, one of my favourite characters. What an arse.
Duncan Lamont.
He was in the Quatermass. Oh, look at that. A terrible wig on Terry Walsh there. and talking of terrible wigs, this chap. There he is. That's not fooling anyone, that wig, is it?
No, really isn't.
He's even got, you can see grey hair coming out underneath the black wig. I'm so cruel.
I didn't quite hear that.
That was a throw forward to the episode 3, I believe. Now this chap here is actually one of the worst actors in Christendom, isn't he?
Yes, he doesn't bring a lot to the table.
And yet he is interviewed in the extras, so I feel very bad. I think it is a major tragedy that the two surviving actors from this production are both terrible. And she is terrible, isn't she? Bless her. Not good, she
Good
says.
Old Jill.
Right. I think the bloke lying down is possibly the best one.
Yeah, I'm not going to ruin it for you if you've not seen this before. I like that little triangle though that they're in. Fun little underused location.
The dirty wee fighters.
Captain Railton.
It's terrible.
Oh,
the other guy's been out on the tiles.
Yes.
I'm Galloway.
He's a class actor having this, isn't he? What's that guy's name? Really famous. Abineri, John
Abineri, yeah.
Yeah, real class act. Great actor. Terrible wig. Did I mention the wig?
Back to the
Duncan Lamont. Great actor. Yeah, it was in the film of Quatermass and the Pit.
Look at they're Space Marines, aren't they? Look at their badges, which are literally Star Trek turned sideways. not even trying to hide that.
And it's funny how the sort of jerkin style uniform is more like later Star Trek uniforms, not the ones that they would have been sort of imitating at the time.
It's very true. Like
sort of Deep Space Nine or something.
Very bold colour, isn't it?
That's that a lot.
Such fans.
We're just going to quote lines when they've said them. It's not quoting, it's copying, just repeating.
Burnt into our minds, just this story.
Us repeating it. Pertwee, no scratch. Tick that on your scorecard. Now, here are the design documents, but who was the designer of this episode? He lent them these. Lovely, lovely dissolve here. I love this music. Certain death. Why is your voice echoing? Shh, it's atmospheric.
Oh, Dave.
What?
Dave.
Dave who?
The writing says Dave. Have you not noticed that before?
Never. I thought it was excellent writing. You've literally spoilt the whole episode. Now, there was what did they call it? Coaxial projection or something?
Yeah. These noises. Sorry, I love them so much.
So that was sort of like a weird fluorescent, the kind of paint they use on
Silver Nemesis. Don't they use a similar thing for the mask?
I meant road signs. Yes, they use this kind of paint on road signs, and then there's a light in an arc and a circle around the lens, and the light goes off. So basically, anything facing the camera directly will illuminate according to the camera. But I don't think it looks that illuminated for the person near it.
It's one of those ones. We'll sort it out in post.
Well, no, it was actually done in camera.
But what I mean is they won't see it as well,
Yes.
so they'd be like, don't worry about it.
I'm just going to put this tablecloth over you, love. It won't hurt.
Oh, you can't see where
Space
you are.
food. What's your review of the space food?
Well, it's not very inspiring, is it?
It's Jamie Anderson. Hello, Jamie.
Hello, how are you?
We're just doing a commentary of Death to the Daleks. I'll have to call you back.
Oh, amazing. That's fine. Sorry I missed you earlier on. I'm very upset, but enjoy. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Ach, man, where have you been hiding? You should have said that to Jamie. Ach, man, where have you been hiding?
I seem to remember that Pertwee sort of possibly in an over-friendly way snuggles up to Jill a bit a few times.
I wouldn't be surprised. Well, it's a lonely planet.
I don't know what you're suggesting.
It's cold.
I love these scenes where the Doctor has to sort of blag it a bit.
I like as well how she's having to eat off the tray and he's sitting at the table. He should be a gentleman and say, "You sit at the table."
Well, she could
I'll sit
sit
on my
there,
lap.
but
He doesn't even bloody
unfortunately
finish his food.
That's where the camera is. She can't sit there. What is it they're eating? Mashed potato and peas?
That looks like it, doesn't it? But, yeah.
We've been on this planet for years eating mashed potato and peas.
He's just fed up with them, isn't he?
I'm going out of my mind, Doctor.
Oh, quick! Cue the bad acting.
There's a
The relief ship. The relief ship. What do you say?
bit of CSO there.
So the CSO is for the structure of that thing, is it?
It must be a model, I suppose. Yeah.
Isn't it weird that they bothered to do that rather than just got a tent?
Here she comes, Nick.
Oh, it's a tin saucepan.
Saucepan. It's like that thing you put on top of like plates to keep the food warm.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Here they come.
No, they don't. They didn't blend in there. Now this is quite horrible, isn't it? This poor helpless chap.
You would not want that to be your last sight, do you?
I love this singing.
This is all in dog Latin.
Is it?
Yeah, it's really
Is it
interesting.
dogs speak Latin?
They do, yeah. Well, my dog does.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Carrie. See, I still stand up in defence. Carrie Blyton's score is a masterpiece, and people don't like it because of the Dalek theme, because it's not scary. When the whole point is the Daleks are meant to not be as big of a threat for once.
Yes. Oh well, it's great. It's a great score. It's really imaginative and challenging, and it's beautiful.
It's one of the reasons I love music so much.
And the ring modulation of that Dalek theme is great. I mean, the legend has it that was the Radiophonic Workshop who put that on afterwards. But wasn't Carrie Blyton party to that?
I don't know. I do not know.
Great voice for the High Priest.
Prepare for sacrifice.
I love the way that they've all got aviator glasses as their eyes walked into the masks.
They're cool. There are various outtakes of them not getting into the right position here. Oh, look! Oh, you just see Jill readjusting herself and looking at the camera. Oh, that was awful. Wouldn't it be brilliant if when the door opens, there's a draft comes from the spaceship and blows Railton's... Oh, that's not Railton, isn't it? Whoever he is. Blows his wig straight off. Now, is that noise part of the music or is it a sound effect?
Part of the music.
Did Carrie Blyton use synthesizers?
I think that would have been maybe a Dick Mills job.
Bit of a wobble on the Dalek. That one doesn't move at all. Just pushed in by a stagehand.
Love the noise the guns make.
You can't! Well, there you have it. Episode 1 of Death for the Daleks.
I could just watch it all.
Watch it, yeah. We haven't got time this week, Benji.
So sad.
I'm speechless with joy. It was Railton, Richard Railton, Commander, and Commander Stewart. I see. Well, beautiful. Maybe we'll return to Death for the Daleks for another almost impromptu commentary. Terry Walsh.
Just
big kiss.
Class. Absolute
Terry Nation.
Class.
All the Terrys and the saxophone quartet.
Carrie Blyton related to Enid Blyton.
Really?
Indeed.
In what sense related?
I can't remember. It's on the website, on his website.
Colin Green was the designer. Beautiful work, Colin. And Michael Bryant, responsible for many great Doctor Who stories.
The nephew of Enid Blyton. There we have it. Look at that, eh?
No, I think that his score was lovely. Well, should we contact Jamie?
Yeah, why not? We can't leave him hanging.
Since we're here. He was driving. Could you hear the car noise?
I couldn't.
Hello. Well, we finished doing that. We thought we'd...
Have you?
Yes. Where are you? Where are you on the road?
I'm in Woodstock in Oxfordshire.
Oh.
Far out.
Yeah, it's very nice, very snowy and pretty and chocolate boxy.
There's no chance of your journey being stopped by some terrible weather conditions.
No, well, I drove from South Wales to Oxfordshire this morning at 5:30, and it was somewhat treacherous, but fine.
Okay. And what are your thoughts on Death to the Daleks?
Do you know what? I haven't seen it for so long. My only thought is that I want to watch it again now.
Well,
which is not much use, is it?
You so should.
Well, when you watch it again, watch it with our commentary for part 1.
Oh, okay. I can't wait now. I'm yes, very excited about that. Thank you.
Now,
as much as I hate audio commentary.
In the last podcast, we it's all right for something you're very familiar with, I think, but I know what you mean.
Probably.
In the last podcast, we couldn't get in touch with you, but we did text you a question and we recorded your reply. Benji, do you want to give him another random question?
Yeah, why not? So, would you rather live until you're 200 but look like you're 200 the whole time, despite being healthy, or look like you're 25 but die at 65?
Gosh, that's actually quite a difficult one. I normally find these a bit easier.
Oh.
But I'm healthy despite looking 200.
Yeah, but you look 200.
I think the value of experience and the things you could do mean that I'd rather live to 200 but look it. And you know, if the concern is, but you'll never get any any fun, you won't have any partners in your life.
Yes.
Well, you know, there are people that like a bit of all sorts of everything. You know, there's someone for everyone. So, I think I'd live 200 years. Thanks, Benji.
Okay. What do you think, Benji?
Classy response. I don't know. I think looking like you're 25, you can get a lot done in 65 years.
Oh, he's all about the hanky-panky, that's why. Shame on you, shallow Benji Clifford.
And Benji, think of it this way. It's less than 10 years for me till 65.
Terrifying.
And you still look 25.
Yeah.
Thanks. Here's your monthly £5.
So I suppose for you, Nick, you would definitely choose the 200 one.
I don't know. I suppose I would choose that 200 one. Yeah.
Well, I'll look after you both for the first 65 years.
I think it's the best choice. Life is so precious, and we only get one go. Why fritter it away looking like a child?
That's very, very profound, isn't it?
It's very profound, but then
Not really.
Well, I suppose if you were healthy at 200, you wouldn't need trouble going to the lavatory or getting out of chairs or anything. But you just
I think
look
that's
it.
the key thing that Jamie's saying. It's just if you just look it, but if you're healthy, then what the heck? That's the problem with getting old. It's all I'm telling you now, guys, out of my own experience. It's all the aches and pains and the unwanted little things that come along with older age. As Russell T Davies, he said, dropping a name like a big clang, said to me, old age never comes along on its own, does it? It brings with it its little friends. You know? Yeah,
Not
true,
fun,
though.
not fun aging, is it really?
It's all getting a bit deep for a
I
Benji
know.
Big Show.
I've got quite a few little friends with old age.
I like this question here, which is a pointless question, but it's amusing, where it says, would you rather live in a giant desert or a giant dessert?
Well, you know my eating habits.
We'll do the dessert then.
Yeah, dessert, please. Do we get to choose what dessert it is?
Yeah.
I guess so. I suppose that's only
Yeah, go
fair,
on.
isn't it?
Banoffee.
Yep, mine too. Me too.
Ooh.
Made at the Hungry Monk in Jevington. Just putting that out there.
What do I go for when we have dinner?
You have to know where it's made as well and where it came from. That's the rule.
A bit of brownie.
Chocolate brown.
Arctic roll.
Oh, I know. Ice cream sundae.
How original.
Oh, yes.
I like an ice cream sundae. Don't get all snobby, Benji, about ice cream sundaes.
It's very nice though. I do like a sundae.
Oh yeah.
You know what
I think an
flavours?
ice cream sundae is a top-notch choice. It's my second choice. In fact, I'd love to holiday in your ice cream sundae.
Yes. Come and visit.
It'd be very cold though, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but there's a lot of variety in an ice cream sundae, isn't there? You could sort of slip through the cream, slide down a banana,
Sit on the wafer.
bounce on a strawberry. Put your feet in the little dimples, you know.
Ooh,
Count the
yeah.
hundreds and thousands.
Slide down one of those brandy snap things.
Yeah.
Oh,
Very
it's a
good.
world of fun. I'm
I know
feeling
where my
quite.
next holiday's going to be.
Yeah.
What's that? Oh, right, in my... Sorry, I was suddenly interested for real in holiday. Oh, where's that then? The Isle of Sunday.
I like it.
Next one of those.
Well, thank you very much, Jamie. We'll be speaking to you anon.
Yeah, I've got some very exciting top secret news for you and possibly Benji, so we'll look forward to giving that later on, but it'll be something your listeners will love in a few months' time as well.
Okay, well,
Hint, hint.
I'll call you back when this podcast's over.
Do it.
Cheers, mate. Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Wow.
for
So
that.
we have to. That is going to be exciting, isn't it? We have to pick what we're going to what we're going to talk about in the next podcast.
It's a tricky one, isn't it, when it gets to this stage?
Anything spring to mind, Benji?
Oh, I don't know. I suppose we could do the sandbaggers.
Oh, okay.
Or is
Yeah,
that a
I
little
mean,
bit too soon because you've just finished it? So
I know. I'm happy to do the sandbaggers if you fancy that.
why
Or
not?
should we do something? Should we go a bit sci-fi?
Yeah, we've not done sci-fi for a while, have we?
Yeah, apart from Death of the Daleks. just now, but
Science
that was
fiction.
Science fiction.
Okay, what can we do?
Well, people keep talking about Sapphire and Steel, don't they?
Yes, that's very true. Why
But
not?
let's do that. Have you ever seen it?
I've not
Really?
actually. I've never sat down and watched Sapphire and Steel. I've seen bits of it. I remember.
Oh, Benji.
I remember seeing. I've seen of my fair share of clips on YouTube, but I can't say I've actually sat down and been like, I'm going to watch Sapphire and
Benji,
Steel.
you'll love it.
There we have it. You see, a new.
It's the most amazing thing. Yeah, it's very very sparse.
Right.
But it's there are never many characters in it.
Well, David McCallum and Joanna Lumley. I mean, what more do you
Yeah.
want? What more do you want?
Well, I met her as well. All right, then. Let's do that. What else do I need to say? I need to say, don't forget to keep those emails coming in. We'll be doing another emails podcast for release on Sunday, the 10th of March, 2019.
That's 10 days into March.
It is, yes. And the next podcast will be 3 days into March, on the 3rd of March, when we'll be discussing Sapphire and Steel, episode 1 of Assignment 1. We might watch a bit more if we get into it. But anyway, that's what we'll be doing.
Marvellous. Well, in that case then, we look forward to hearing from you, and I hope you've enjoyed hearing from us. So from me, it's goodbye.
And from me, it's goodbye too. Pressing stop now. Ka-chunk.